Hey, Stateberg here in our gaming video. Today we're playing some more Disco Elysium. You remember the last episode? This is my literally me character. Like, we were investigating this building, but this guy is my literally me character. You know this place is. Ooh, glasses. Well, I think I have sunglasses on, but flip up glasses. The offer logic of authority. Chief officer. I'll keep them on, but I don't know. Okay, so okay. Oh, I found alcohol. Alcohol. Ooh, money. And now, so it doesn't look like we've been snooping around. I don't know why I said it like that. Fucking. I think I'm that leads to the balcony. I'm not ready for the balcony yet. I want to see what's going on here. So I'm drawing 5-point stars on the wall.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11. No reply. It's a solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters would make short work of it. Better whip out those cutters. You won't get very far otherwise.
Yeah, it's nice that I kept all these tools on me.
This door
Be
has
prepared,
been
be
closed with
prepared.
a chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11.
You know, I'm gonna quick save before this.
This door has been closed with a padlock. The shackle snaps like a twig, and the lock falls to the floor with a little thud. It should be possible to enter now.
After you, detective.
Huh. A 9mm bullet? What's the head got to say?
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads, Kraz Marzo.
A zoophile, probably. Cosmos was a sexual deviant. A zoophile, probably.
The lieutenant raises a brow.
I hate
Thank you for
deviants.
sharing your wonderful opinion on human sexuality. There aren't many communists around. Not after the revolution. Some youth still keep the ideology going, it seems.
Why does this town have a bust of
The
Karen?
White Star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting.
I want to see the. Ooh. What's this? Revolutionaries love to pose with their guns.
That isn't just a 5-pointed star. It's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers. The iconography of
Look.
communism, in other words.
Upside down. You know, somebody tried to tell me this game was communism. How do you get communism from? Hey, you know that symbol of Satan? If you fucking flip it upside down, you have the symbol of communism. You Yeah. Yeah, definitely pro-communism. Yeah, no, I respect any game that can criticize everybody. Because everybody's criticized. Look, Kim, there's communists around here.
I'll keep my armistice handy, detective.
He doesn't actually reach for his gun. The Star and Antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century and quickly adopted by Mezov and the Communards during the Revolution. Even today, half a century after, the Star and Antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure.
Why is this?
To symbolize the toppling of the old order. Also, some social democrats were already using it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because white is the color of peace. Communism is the ideology of gutless intellectuals and clueless university students. They don't care about the real working man. In other words, it doesn't mean a thing to true Revacholians.
Yeah, let's shut the communists. You know what? No. Fuck them commies. Ooh, shoes. Probably his money. Well, he did follow the ideology of sharing. Ooh, ooh. So, sharing is caring.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10.
Let's knock.
The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to the door.
Knock again.
A poor communard, from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
This is the police. Open up.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open the door if you don't have a warrant.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason.
I've been stealing shit this entire time. I don't think I needed much of a reason. Hello, ma'am.
Give me a moment. The cold never does any good for my bronchitis.
Ah.
This woman's health is failing her. There's not much to do. Not in this damp.
Are you alright? Should I call a doctor?
I'm fine. Fine. Don't you worry about me. Now, what do you want from me, policeman?
She's the cleaning lady. She knows the floor plan and the residence.
I'm looking for a Martin Manus.
Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry.
No, you don't understand. I'm looking for a real person named Martin Manus. He told me he's Martin Manus.
Pea-brain. Someone played a trick on you. Martinez is a name
Martin
for
Mayonnaise.
anyone who comes from Martinez, like Tim Jambrock or Raoul Ravachol.
Oops. You really didn't get the joke there.
I thought it was obvious. Anyway, officer, we don't have the witness's name.
How about a young male in his mid-20s, dark hair, skinny build, Smoker on the balcony. You know where he lives?
Yes, yes. I know who you mean. The scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil, right?
At the end of the other end of the hall.
Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower.
What's he in trouble for?
Not in trouble. I just want to talk to him. You know where he lives?
Talk? He
Okay.
lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony.
Cough,
It's
cough.
one of those doors there. He's usually home in the evening.
Ah.
Thank you. We should go check out his apartment on the balcony. See if he's home.
I have a few questions about this.
Ask away, policeman.
Is one of the residents on vacation?
People come and go. I don't keep an eye on everyone.
Huh.
They probably just moved or died, hopefully somewhere else.
Ha! Who lives
No
in
one
part?
lives there. It's been empty for months.
Have I talked to somebody through the door?
Impossible. I would know if someone had moved in there. Maybe it's those countercultural people again. Breaking into a house like it's a public space. You're a policeman. Be good and take a look, will you?
Sure, I'll go see. Yeah.
Great. Young people. They're worse than rats. You know, always littering the hallways with trinkets and empty beer cans. Oh, that one is a scientist, a future scholar. I think he studies astrology at the community college. Education's good. I always tell them to study. Something to do with all those stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up on the wall.
You mean the stars and antlers? I think that's a communist symbol.
The symbol of what now?
It's for loons that don't have no idea what the comedy word.
Economy? Why should anyone care about economy?
She mumbles some kind of a response, then hacks something into her handkerchief.
Who are you?
I'm no one. Just an old woman who cleans these hallways.
You live here?
If you can call it living. It's barely bigger than a
You live
closet.
upstairs.
But I don't complain, no. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company. And that's all I need from this world.
Ah.
And all she gets, too. The coastal wind beats down hard on the cold room door outside. Splashes of waves make the balcony slippery.
Thanks, I'm off. Well, I know the counterculture people there. Somebody has torn down the wall.
A shift in temperature. The air chills around you. Dust settles on the stony floor.
Rub your sides
Former
warm.
architect stands before a slice of window, a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and frozen, with temperatures falling down to minus 20 degrees Celsius.
Her face.
Is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Traces of sadness are visible in her expression.
The plan?
Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects the room with the neighboring apartment. Ideas for arranging the furniture have been jotted down. It's clean and empty, with new tapestry embellishing the walls. A standard HB graphite pencil has fallen off a three-legged stool in the middle of the room. She had an eye for beauty.
This is just the bathroom back here. Ooh. What? Stupid sound effect in the game fucking scared me. Oh, that's a balcony. Investigate the... I forgot. How do I get skill points?
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture.
This apartment's
The
supposed to be
number on the
empty.
panel
Did you break in
says
here?
10.
Excuse me? Of course not.
Scare them. Suspected of some big crime. You have plenty of reason to enter.
I don't need a warrant if it's suspected to be a break-in.
Oh, come on.
That was smart.
Let me look at the environment around you first. And also, ooh, there's some shoes in here. Are they any better than mine? What do they do? +1 to indirect modes of taxation. What the fuck does that mean? Is there taxation in this game?
Satisfied? My name is
I
Marielle
don't-
Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I am not breaking in, as I have every right to be here. The keys, see? Do you want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my residence permit too?
Inspect the
It
ID.
feels flimsy in hand, with the words Revachol Zone of Control written under a nondescript municipal logo. There's a picture of her with shorter hair inside, along with all her personal details.
Nice haircut.
Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Midtown in an hour.
What are you doing?
I need to get it ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place.
I fuck shit up too.
Sounds like you've spent too much time undercover in some rock band. It
Let's
was
see.
some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You'd think they'd make rent.
A sudden serious look crosses her face. This story didn't have a happy ending.
But that was months ago. Anyway, was there anything you wanted, or is that it? I'm in a hurry.
Who lived in the foreclosed apartment down the hall?
Oh, that's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. 3. We closed the apartment and planned on auctioning off the valuables, but... And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can even happen. But Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighboring door. And there's a hole in the wall.
So preppy. She's probably on some low-grade performance enhancers, like Preptide or Pericanine.
A hole in the wall. Can you believe it? And then the tenant ran off with his stuff. He's gone. The money's gone. Just like that.
The sum must have been puny.
My money has disappeared. My money has also disappeared, I think.
Well, it does not disappear from my hands. No, I don't let it.
I couldn't have been much money. Look at the per.
These apartments are perfectly fine. They
Yeah,
have
pretty
gorgeous
shabby.
architecture, a million-real view of the bay, good ventilation, neighbors, life, spark, and they are affordable. I'll tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those radio computer wizards.
So what happens to the wall?
Don't ask me what happened with the wall. I have no idea how we're going to find the time or resources to fix it. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both. Of course.
Goodbye.
Give me a moment.
I didn't find any counterculture people in apartment 10. It was just a real estate agent setting up a room for a new tenant.
I see. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them.
The radio computer wizards are coming, and they're gonna save the place and the economy.
Oh, I do like wizards, and people like that in general. They have a lot to tell us about our fates.
She means clairvoyance.
Thanks, off.
What happened here?
You can't
It would
foreclose an
still be
apartment.
accessible through the apartment next to it. That one didn't have a door. Sadly, nothing of great value remains here.
Except the stuff in the fridge.
Indeed.
Hey, Kim, you have anything to say about this?
Yes?
No, you do not. I gotta earn your trust at some point. Oh, is that the balcony? Leave no stone unturned. If there's money. Where is this? I do not know. What is this? Seems like.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
No, we just want to know your name, little lady. No need to get defensive.
And here I was trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs.
That smell coming from her paint bucket. It's not paint. It's heavy fuel oil. Red-dyed heavy fuel oil is only used in government vehicles, or at least that's the idea.
You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at?
The lieutenant furrows his brow at another one of your eccentricisms. Hatred, disgust, it's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Rivershot. Its moneyed residents, used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques, rarely have reason to visit Martinez.
Where's she?
Probably the Wild Pines rep. We should talk to her. She's a professional negotiator, though. I have the feeling she will be very cooperative while telling us nothing. You should take the lead. Ask her unexpected questions, you know? Do your thing. Don't be afraid to get a bit wacky. Throwing her off is our best bet.
Good idea, piggies. Run along now.
I don't like being
Fuck
called a
her
pig.
Shit up good. Impound that boat while you're at it. I'd like to watch her swim back to Ozon.
What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
What? So you don't know what to write?
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home and Mono is here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so... Yeah?
I love public art.
Thanks. I'm sure the inspiration will come to me now that I have an official RCM stamp of approval.
You know what I think about the recent
I ain't
memorial?
no snitch, pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Actually, there is a shortage of people who talk to us in a normal, calm, informative manner.
We weren't put on this earth to make your life pleasant, fucko.
Is that government oil?
What did you think I was using? Aquarels? Sucked it out of a cop's fuel tank myself. Back in Jamrock.
Fumes are bad for you, okay?
Something to think about next time you're driving around in your pretty little piggy carriage. Watch your back, Ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
I don't care. Ooh, a boiler room. Ooh, there's pants in the... There's pants in the freaking boiler. Yeah, these guys are comfortable. These blue jeans are comfortable.
The pockets of these new jeans are perfect for sticking your hand into. Makes you look cool, calm, and collected. As your hand enters the pocket, your fingers brush against something, soft, yet crinkly.
Take them out.
Hey, it's a chewing gum wrapper. It reminds you of the fruity juice of apricots. You should inspect it closer if you have time. Something
I always
about
have
the wrapper's
time.
texture is familiar. Not familiar in a good way, you might say. There's pain in there somewhere. By the way, the raw materials were most likely exported from Seaguy, the apricot suzerainty, and processed in sur-le-clay into the apricot-flavored chewing gum loved by kids of today and yesterday. Something about it is familiar, and not only to your fingers. A crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads,
Tutti Frutti!
smells faintly of apricots with a barely noticeable tinge of cinnamon.
That's an actual brand I see in the store.
You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. It's a spice derived from tree bark.
Cinnamon's not a fruit.
Can a used wrapper shrug? Seems like that's what the wrapper is doing somehow. This is not about flowers or bark. What is this about? Why are you looking at this wrapper?
I'll hang on to it just in
You
case.
neatly fold the wrapper into a square before you put it back into your pocket. Carefully, lovingly even.
I wonder if I go to tools and I get this. There was actually a lot of money in that. But I feel like this is all I can do from here. Hey, do you live in
Hello
there?
again, officers.
Is that the
Have
bed?
you
In the,
come to admire my mural?
is that the bed? Is that bed in the coal room yours?
Ooh. Not only have you found my address, you've discovered my biggest secret. I'm a coal miner.
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
It's not a nice place, but I guess I have to do.
It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing at all. Does anyone in a city like this?
Are you really a miner?
Yes. I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me, but somehow it never happens.
Cool, I have other questions.
Shoot, Piggy.
Catch you later, Cindy. Rude. I got that song from Stalker stuck in my head. Do 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 do. Bow down. What's over here? Ooh. Ooh. I could be a sailor if I wanted to. Yar har har the barrel. If you got stretchy arms, how do you do that? He took a bite of the gum. See what's going on with this boat. Is it? It's worth more than anything ever in my life.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets. A silk scarf is tied around her throat.
Good evening, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbor. You gentlemen must be from the RCM.
RCM, what's that? I'm a little frog here.
I meant you, the Revachol Citizens Militia, the police.
What's the L stand for?
Baton, my maiden name.
What gave us away?
Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
Shake her
I'm
hand.
glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will, gladly.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode.
Very unusual.
But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
How interesting.
You're
Wish you a
a
swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
You're on a
Why,
boat.
yes, I am.
Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19, because that's the type of sloop it is. It's a pleasure craft, a 19-pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
How do you like her?
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
No, boats.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
Technically, the neighboring Ozone and Fas a la Mer island groups are archipelagos, while La Caillou, by contrast, is a single fertile landmass, the fourth largest island in the world. It is not an archipelago.
Well, I thought it was one big island.
Okay, if you want to get technical. The point is, we're all on islands here, and sail is still the most expedient way to get from one island to another, especially when you're in a hurry to resolve a strike. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
I think I've
Good.
on the boat. What do you do?
What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak for Wild Pines as a whole. It's a giant undertaking.
So what do
The
they though?
Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. See those airships there, blinking? Those are the shipping side of things. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration, offshore platforms.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, centuries ago. The king is long gone, but several of the Indo-tribes remain.
Who are the other tribes?
Saint-Baptiste, Elysium, an unknown entity known as Brightest Star.
You're in good company, it seems.
Why, thank you.
How much money does Wild Pines
I'm
have?
not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue.
Wow.
20 billion is a large number, but the conglomerate employs 72,000 people. They all need to be paid. Then there are capital improvements, interest payments. A conglomerate the size of the Wild Pines is like a shark. If it stops moving, it will die. Then what becomes of those 72,000 families? It's a tremendous responsibility. They started
Yeah,
as
where
an
did they get 'em?
exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas 250 years ago, when pine ships explored the South Seminese and charted Lomantang on behalf of the suzerain. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees to build it.
What does such a large system have with a
Do you
place
mean
like this?
aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo?
Quite the endeavor
There are
indeed.
no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
You tell
That's the
me.
man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the fourth day to the bat's day on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with.
Tell me.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets.
What's the role?
I
precisely?
believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
I spent half the time asking
And
about
how
a
are
boat.
the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago, after that awful lynching took place. Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gates.
Tell me more about this
What
behemoth.
can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organization now. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first
Ah.
arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on site, like the RCM.
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite
Oh, Mr. Clare, the fat guy. That looks like the guy who played Newman.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive.
What happened to this
Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see.
Okay then.
Yes. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
What are their demands?
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say again? Oh yes. Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably
Oh!
don't know what that means.
Over-aggressive commie posturing.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board.
Most of them probably don't know what that means.
Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers in its Martinez terminal.
Oh,
Just so
God.
you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group.
Workers can't be king. The kings are king. The kings are kings.
That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, it's not a swell start. I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeated over and over again. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags. A disastrous situation if there ever was one.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates. The one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
The scabs at the gate, did you put them there?
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrog, come to plead for work where the union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right.
It's implied.
Always.
She's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
What do you think of Everett?
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the workers first.
Really?
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood.
That's Everett,
He is
alright.
the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar.
Wait, there's two of them?
Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues.
Oh, the union itself.
The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act. But they did it. I can respect that. Organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The debarders are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, we are forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard and his brother. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Debardeurs Union is...
Basically a socialist mob.
Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the wolf always hungers.
One more thing. You said something happened in the elections?
I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the Union. She disappeared.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't
Here.
running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story.
Eerie.
Downright haunting, if you ask me. The
Yeah.
Wild Pines suspected
No
foul
one.
play, but what could they do? It was a union matter. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things happen around the Clares. Watch out when you're dealing with him.
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Alright, that's all.
Of course. How else can I help?
You tell me about
Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41, Detective Dubois. I'm afraid Harry doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
Oh, and what happened to yours, Detective?
Remember when my partner told you I recently suffered from a unusual medical episode? I lost my badge related to it.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode?
Yes.
I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please.
It's possible
dear.
after
Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia? I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I've seen that badge.
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Alright.
Feelings will guide the way.
I assure you, it is no small matter for me either. We all share the responsibility for disarming this situation. I hope you have a badge for me as soon as possible.
She's silent. The wind flaps the sail above her.
Officer,
There's only this coast and the luncheon.
you know, I don't mean to sound cold, but if you want something, you have to give something back. More than just guilt.
You're doing it. Despite your own best efforts, you're still getting it. Somehow.
I'll be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to see something tangible.
Like what?
The Union is conducting drug trade out of the harbor. It's an open secret in Martinez. Surely it must not come as a complete surprise to the RCM either. Perhaps it's time to look into it. Or you can find your badge, which honestly seems like a lost cause.
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
Excuse me for... What?
This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective.
How do you...
Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and you know, not volunteer us to be her henchman.
Oh, huh.
This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think she's just quick to adapt. She's a professional, after all.
So we
If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large, and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters.
The situation might have changed drastically by the time you locate it. Time is of the essence.
You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months.
let's go back to her then.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Oh, by the way,
You have.
Finally, time to choose sides.
he's just a beautiful... He's a bloated rainbow socialist.
Oh, come on now. He has his uses. How else would he have stayed in power all these years?
I call them a...
Actually,
I call them a bloated racist... And I call them a bloated socialist gay guy.
corruption. That's how he's done it. Fantastic. Vermin-like. Corruption.
Just
Reaching
anti-social.
into the bowels of the earth.
The position of my
I'm just being
unusual
very
colleague
anti-communist
does not
this
reflect
episode.
official policy.
I'm just
I
gonna be
hope you
very
understand.
anti-communist.
The RCM does not pick sides.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Tell her she'll like you for it.
Mr. Eppo is helping me find my gun.
Oh. That's so helpful of him.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling. He's able to contain the anger and surprise.
And conventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this, to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun?
No.
Well, maybe he's not as helpful as you thought then. Is there anything else?
I'd rather talk about something.
Of course, Detective. Should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
Okay, tell me about the alleged
It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samar and Isola into Revachol with the Union's blessing. Wild Pines has suspected it for years.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine,
Oh!
and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff.
It comes through the...
Yes.
the
After they
terminal.
clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual
through the
production is
terminal.
taking place at various sites in and around Jamrock Quarter, north of here.
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also produces the product? Sells drugs, I mean?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dockworkers Union. Still, every chain has its weak link.
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
The horse.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbor into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they're vulnerable.
How convenient that they're stranded like beached whales at that roundabout.
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. One of them might be waiting for a crucial shipment.
I think I know who I'm.
Her irises are light green, like the river Esperance in bright daylight, upstream where it's clearer.
I'll be explicit. If you find this driver,
I think I know
will
who the driver
share
is.
company secrets
It's
with
a
you.
racist guy.
Uncovering Union secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
Why didn't you come
We
to?
did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction this area falls under.
We know the company has launched its own probe into the Union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM. No one's been able to find any hard evidence.
Well, here's your chance, officers.
Oh, shit.
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. However, this is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the Trade Committee, they'll have no choice but to lower the drawbridge, and the operation will continue. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
A cold breath rushes in from the bay, making its way down the alleyways and potholed streets. From Martinez to Jamrock, in the traffic you hear the clinking of glass vials, concealed beneath tarpaulin. Or is it just your teeth chattering in the cold?
A lot of it. It comes in from large Samaran factories in South Safre, Sigai, and Sinyao. The literage they must get from this terminal alone must be oceanic.
Ah,
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. I'm sure you understand.
what proof do you have?
Do you
The
think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves. Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you.
We are suspicious that one of the drivers were present at the
The
lynching.
two might even be connected.
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm eager to hear it.
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done.
Okay, I made up my mind about the smuggling investigation.
Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry
I
drivers
gotta go and see
lingering
if
near the
Everett has my
roundabout.
gun.
Hopefully one of them will know something. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open.
I have that
I can
bullet.
keep the drawbridge up
I'm
for
gonna
a few
shoot
more days
Everett.
At least. You should have the time you need. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance. Of
Thank you,
course,
that's all.
Detective.
I'm gonna let Everett know about the fucking... Oh, you have something to say that you
You
have
should
some.
think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
Haven't paid the.
You should take care of that, then.
I don't have the
Let's
money.
talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll figure something out.
Try to negotiate with the caffeine. Okay. Wait, can I circle back around from over here? Oh, I can. Oh, what's that? Come on, Lieutenant. I know we're supposed to be negotiating with a freaking. Oh, there's a. Let's see about the sleeping guy.
This coin operates.
Nah, I'm not gonna spend money. Time. Oh, hey. Oh, shit.
I can't believe it's snowing again. It felt like springtime just a few days ago.
What were you doing in the greenhouse in
Well,
March?
This might be the last snow we get. At least I hope so. Snow has nutrients in it. Helps everything green up in the spring. At least that's what my grandma always told me.
Stop looking at her. Look around. What do you see? That's right. And the canal, the bookstore, the harbour gates. This is a great vantage point for keeping an eye on you.
Maybe a chance to keep an eye on us.
No, of course not. I don't understand what this is about. The kid did this, right? The red-haired rat? Can't say a sentence without or kipped. He's always giving me trouble.
I was talking to him.
Maybe you shouldn't be. I mean, you do your job, but that kid is beyond help. And he certainly won't help you.
You've been resting here for quite a while, haven't you?
Yes, I'm tired.
I understand. The RCM isn't welcome here, and the locals want to keep an eye on us.
There's silence, the smallest of smiles.
That's okay, miss. Do what you have to do. I think we're done here. Let's go.
The Rubber Shore Nationalist. The body is
Down?
down.
Do you mean the body is finally gone?
No body. The body is down on the ground.
Oh, right. Can you tell me when you've taken him away then?
Can I borrow your gloves? I'm doing an autopsy.
An autopsy? Wow. Sure, keep them. I have another pair.
It's late and you're still here.
I'm a nighthawk. What can I say?
She's still here because you're still here.
You don't have to stay here because of us.
I like the city at night, don't you?
I like the gloves to give me a half-life, so...
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still
I
around
want
his
those
neck.
boots.
His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
What exactly is a field
Come on,
autopsy?
officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity.
Alright.
I'll ask you when I need you to. For the most part, maybe I should handle the contact and you take notes?
Alright.
That's right.
Shoot, Looney Rooney.
Well, which one that killed you? Love or communism? You said love killed you, but when you fell down, you said it was communism.
You're misquoting me, Rooney. I said communism killed me. Love did me in.
Get the...
The blue heart. Oh, that's good shit. You'll love it. Just press down and fuck it open like you always do. Fuck it hard. Corpo the clown.
He means force. It'll work.
Come back later, Corpo.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with,
Begin.
It's you.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says,
KK57-0803.0815. Next,
Name.
NA. Next, NA.
Deborf. Eh.
Roughly 50.
dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
I'm gonna write through
He
too.
nods.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mundi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Sex.
Fucky, fucky!
Oh, fuck. Not that.
Pigs can have sex.
Fucky. No, I gotta do it.
Naive, the lieutenant does not double-check your notes.
Dude,
We're still going with March 4th. 51. What else? Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
Is I'm not so
A
sure.
silent nod. The lieutenant places his gloved hand on the corpse's chest, as if in preparation. Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then, somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else.
Ah.
The building is tall, 7 stories, wind-wrapped in solitude. Most of the apartments are unoccupied. This was a suicide. The other, an accident. The small one. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today. 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings.
Describe me.
I'm afraid we can't continue before we've gone through both the external and internal examination first, thoroughly. Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo resembling a microelectronical circuit board. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet. The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to the latex of the glove, like thread off a rag doll's head. There must be brilliantine in there. He's combed his hair back with oil.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation. Ligature mark. The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Oh yeah, I'm preparing the chain cutters.
The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose.
Good thing we got the chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully. With that.
See?
First
My
is-
pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Yes, that Kuno's pig. Yes, I'm Kuno's pig. I agree.
You are? This pig is Kuno's.
You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then... The lieutenant looks by, somewhat worried as you summon power words to your aid.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that faggot
Shut
him.
up.
Corpse fucking time.
Told you my pig was hardcore.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to
How
his
hard
knee
is it just to
for
go
precision.
like scissors? Up towards the chin. Up towards the chin and just...
Yes, that's much better form than you had. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
Here. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape.
As it ought to. This is where its grip on the curdled meat is gentlest, pulling up.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia...
No! It's gonna happen, see?
I fucking knew it.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
The dead man's penis is average, just from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The
It's meat
genitalia
stick.
is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch. You should touch it.
I'm gonna touch it.
Doesn't feel like anything. A cold spot under your gardening gloves. Unremarkable and unalive.
My pig's so fucking ill right now.
Your pig's pretty sick, I gotta say.
Right down and move on.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are all combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
Bullets have bitten little pieces out of him. It must have been excruciating, especially the hip. Before you is a temple of pain that knew little tenderness in life.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
Last item, hands.
Pick up the hands.
The hand feels heavy, filled with decay liquids, like it's ready to explode if squeezed hard enough. You're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
Sausage. Were we expecting
I
anything?
was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Internal
Central
activity.
nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I may add the moral to the
What
story.
would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood
I
supply.
think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system.
This pig, we're fucking him. It's just a field autopsy.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Look inside the mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his. No, you don't. You can keep it in. You can keep anything in. You manage to suppress the contractions trying to enter your stomach. All it takes is concentration. Through it, you see nothing but darkness. More meat and darkness.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus. Hepatobiliary. NA.
Why don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
Hepato means liver, and biliary, the gallbladder and bile ducts.
I am an expert in those things.
Nothing in your alcohol-soaked memory directs to having forensic expertise on either one.
I don't think so.
Neither am I.
Then is
That's it. Same for toxicology and serology. NA.
both?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there?
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
Would
No. Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Brimming with cocaine.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list?
description of injuries.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
What
Oh, so we inflicted them?
Okay, I have.
Okay, so there's an incision on the thorax from a chain cutter. I wouldn't mention it. Better not to muddy the waters.
Isn't that sloppy?
Be pedantic if you like, it doesn't matter. No one else is going to investigate this man's murder. And if they do, such details would only confuse them.
See? These pigs are fucking corrupt.
Why don't you fuck him if you love him so much?
Now, injuries.
Bite marks.
Head, chest and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
Fatal injury.
Fatal injury by seagulls?
No, the Great
Those
Song.
are mean, yes. But not that mean.
Not
yes,
fatal.
it's...
Not fatal pace
That's right. What's next?
Continues.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Not fatal
Right.
pace.
Next?
What's the 4th injury?
Nothing. Just in case.
The corpse lay slouched to the side, oblivious to its surroundings. The field autopsy form describes his state in 3 parts.
I thought we decided to leave it to processing. Let's not turn this into some kind of circus.
Damn it. This is turning into some sort of mega puzzle. Okay, so you can sneak out of your room maybe, after he's gone to sleep.
Okay. I'm gonna put my old gloves back on. And we're gonna quick save. I'm not finished yet. I want to go and tell the communist that I've done what he asked. And if he does it, and if he has my gun, I'm shooting him in the fucking head. I don't care if I'm a cop. Oh, oh.
The file cabinet stands steady as ever, and the unlocked drawer slide hundreds of, and the same you already went through. The drawer slide. The already familiar cold touch of plastic welcomes you as you pick. Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. 4952. And a moment of hesitation before entering the final numbers. 993. Calling. Calling. Still calling.
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. You rent a film for home use. This is Lamy. How may I help you?
The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows.
What is this place?
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lamy.
Do you know me?
No. Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos here.
Why did I call you?
Maybe you called to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period?
My name is Harry Dubois. Dubois. Do you have anything on my name?
Let me fire up the machine. Dubois. Dubois. Here we are. You haven't rented anything in 5 years, but you still have a copy of Blue Ocean Hell from November '46. Whoa, not a fun film, that one.
What kind of film is that?
It's not an easy watch. After the death of his daughter and subsequent divorce, Ziemsk immigrant Egidius Wojcik tries to come to terms with the onset of dementia. No wonder no one's been missing it. Still, it would be great if you could return it to us. We're on the corner of Voyager and Main.
On the corner of Voyager and Main, a large neon sign hangs on the side of a building. Video Revachol, 24 hours. It's raining and there is almost no traffic on the street. A woman's footprints in the mud lead away from the front door. Tiny heels tiptoeing down the road. Beautiful steps, light-footed with a lifetime ahead of them. You look up and the air seems to grow darker. The call is terminated by the other party. You're left with the discomforting sound of the disconnect tone.
Hey, oh Everett. Oh wait, I'm nowhere near where I'm supposed to be over there, am I? Hello.
Your body betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
What do you mean by body betrays my degeneracy?
You have succumbed to Al Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can.
What's the...
Yes, Al Ghul.
He means alcohol.
Do you mean alcohol?
Correct. My small skull servant. Al Ghul is an ancient Ilmaran poison, a parasitic fungus that has colonized your race. It is a trick the desert pygmies played on you, for humiliating them and stripping them of their land.
Intentionally fermented drinks have existed for 10,000 years.
And literally, people did not invent alcohol. It's a super.
This is a fabrication the alchemists of Yizot and Bashir and the Rolam Al Ghul have fed you people. Go on believing in it, race loser.
I don't think that's how history works.
Why don't you have another drink? Your features are not yet congenitally deformed enough.
Oh yeah, Measurehead.
It's not good.
It's like a rat crawled into your stomach, got drunk, and drowned.
I am a certain girl. I need to respect the law. I don't have a problem with it. I drink a little on weekends.
Your mouth moves, but the one who speaks is Al Ghul. You are but a vessel for the Ghul now. Very little of yourself remains. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the Ham Sandwich race is waning.
I'm police. I need to comply now.
Jerking motions. Signs of a late-stage neurodegenerative disorder. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Kroikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
You're right about all this. Now I just need you to cooperate with me as a police officer.
Enough with this begging. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Simenon Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul.
Subscribe to it.
Beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality.
Subscribe to his race theory. Yes.
Skulls.
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
I'm new to this world. You help me understand this races.
Do you?
I do.
There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races.
Oh, ever.
Vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need education on? Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Mao, of course. The Maun are riddled with eczema to the point where they find it impossible to smile. They are all lactose intolerant, a common result of inbreeding. A receding genetic pool has led the Maun on reprehensible street parades in Maun cities like Stadskanal and Vredefort, wearing wooden clogs on their feet and little green tassels on their hats.
It's the Dutch! Who actually are the Mao?
You know them by the names of their nation states. The Oranese, the Gotwaldians, and the Königsteiners. My people simply call them Mao.
Mahun is a derogative term for first world people of Gotwaldian descent. They do not all have eczema. Also, people of Katla, like the Suru and the Uru, are much more lactose intolerant.
The one clogs, though.
In some municipalities of Oranje, people do wear shoes made of wood to street parades. Green, orange, and even yellow tassels have also been seen on hats.
The Maun are proof that you can have too much Occidental racial purity and tassel-centric culture. Inbreeding has led to a lactose-intolerant subrace whom no one can take seriously.
Okay, who's up there then?
The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of Meteo by the golden Byzantic Sea,
oh,
the
fuck, I'm on
Suren of
YouTube.
Sur-la-Clé, and even the North Königstein.
Follow me on X.
All have type A race propensities. The other large mondial civilizations,
And if you're joining me from X,
are too yellow.
see you on YouTube.
To count as
See you again on.
heroic.
See you there then.
True.
Most likely we're
They are
friends.
violent and expansionist, but they have a glandular problem. Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat toxic minced meat-based food, which in turn only produces
Mexicans.
more sebum. As proven by the Maun and the Mesk, Occidental.
Oh, we got the Dutch and the Mexicans.
The Simonese and the Areopagite are on the ascent.
And
The
some
indigenous people of this, the Insulindian archipelago. The Simonese inhabit the southern islands. I am Simonese, from the stock of Ulemuir on Ile de Fantôme.
Well, yeah.
The Areopagites are the master race of the Ile Maran deserts. The Simonese are descendants of the Areopagites. We came here during a heroic migration from Ile Maran to Ansuland, thousands of years before the lactose-intolerant Maun written Occidentals discovered this place.
Ah. The fair lactose intolerances.
The
skill issue.
Areopagites are sleek.
They didn't have cows.
Simonese are powerful.
Couldn't
Mesomorphic.
drink milk
The
because they didn't
former
have
is an
domestication.
immutable progenitor.
It's a skill issue.
Unchanged since the super Isola of Pericarnassus. Ancient brains rest in their slender skulls. The latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form the Simeno-Areopagite or Simeopagite super race. That is all. There are no more Type A races in the world.
Type B?
Type B are the unheroic races, amorphous non-competitors of the great race. The Koikos and the Vacholier, they are mud-colored people.
The Koikos of Grad, Yugo, Zimsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white officer in a suspect description.
This guy doesn't like white people, eh? Sickness, but I've trained to identify him as white in the official description.
Yes. To an untrained eye, the Koiko appear white and pinkish, like a handsome witch. But look into their eyes and you will see. They are of an indistinct color, and so is their skin. Unhealthy, muddy, and ashen.
Talking about Jewish people? Or just white people?
Pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and cultural domination that the Grad people have undergone for drinking Al Ghul and smoking the degenerate tobacco herb, and for eating potato.
This guy doesn't like white people!
The Koiko, the countless micronationalities of Grad, are all inexplicably obsessed with potad. The only thing they like more is dividing into microscopic ethnostates, like political amoeba.
And the families meet you
The
mentioned?
Vacholians, halfway between Type A and the racial cauldron. Two mixed to know right from wrong. You tried your degenerate little revolution, which was the single greatest failure committed by humans in our 82,000-year history on this planet.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
I'm pretty sure history hasn't been lasting that
The
long.
mysteries of the people of this planet are a tragedy that has played out countless times over, like a fever dream of skin, hair, and bone. Wake up, naive Chespius.
The revolution was perpetrated by degenerate left-wing marauders. Not all people of Rebashol.
The revolution came to Ravashol from Grad, in Zara's written potato cards. It is literally an illness, a prion disease that leaves the parietal and frontal lobe ridden with holes. A soft sponge-like mass.
Oh, now he's calling me.
dementia,
Now he's calling white people
hallucination,
dumb.
and paranoia. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia, a hereditary prion condition passed from the Koiko to the Occidentals, but not sexually, probably through trade roots and potate acid, the prime component of the potato plant. Enough of Tibet mediocrity.
The vile see-through F.
Tips CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptations. They are tortured creatures waiting to be put to sleep. Your morbid interest in them worries me. Lesser races like the mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a Seminese man. Only possible if the mother is Mesk and the father Semenese. The other way around, they fail to produce offspring. The mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey. All they have left is to ride customized motor carriages with hydraulic suspension, listening to aggressive El Mariachi music to vent their impotent despair.
It seems unlikely that two human beings produce genetically sterile offspring.
Aren't humans too similar to produce?
You are right. You have misunderstood. You lack basic phylogenetic education. Then there is the Semino-Koiki Chimera. Are you sure you wish to know of the Semino-Koiki Chimera?
Yeah, I want to see.
Not an aesthetic site.
Yeah, I want to know your
Koiko,
twisted logic.
As you know, are very servile, especially when they meet the rich man. Racial scientists have toyed with the idea of crossing the Semenese with the Koiko to produce a super worker of Semenese strength and great servility. This will never happen. The Semenese and the Koiko may have similar interbreeding problems as the mosquito. We will never know precisely. No Semenese man could maintain an erection in the suffocating potato stench of a Koiko woman, or Koika. But enough. It is cruel to entertain ourselves with the deformities of Type F. Were there any able-bodied races you needed education on?
No, that's all in types.
You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? You have not even worded the mystery, let alone solved it.
I don't want to.
Lost, though. Buckled away at the last gate.
I'm a nationalist,
This is why
not a
your
racist.
group will never rise from the ashes. Now, I need to luxuriate in the private company of my babe. Leave me. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tibere Vasholian. Your love for disco music and venereal disease?
Isn't Everett the union boss white?
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deeper than that.
Yeah, keep selling yourself that.
Mr. Clare is a man of vision and means. He has the will to confront international capital.
He's a communist!
Which is
A
something
communist!
your race naivistic communists never did. Also, to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic.
I'm no communist.
Of course you are, Revasholian man. The failure of communism to challenge the world order is the core of your race fate. All around you, the fruits of its defeat. Individualism, rock and roll music, sexually transmitted disease. Above all, rampant multinational finance still reigning large. Tell me, where have you gotten your love of pathetic communism from? Degenerate youth culture? Rock and roll music?
I got it from disco, actually.
Stop explaining yourself. No one cares about your beliefs. The conversation has moved on. Tell me, what degenerate subculture has made you dress in this shameful way?
I got it from Disco, actually.
Offshoots of the Seminoles people invented disco while having sex under the influence of cocaine. It is a shame upon my race. But what is done is done. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of the inevitable cultural victory of the Seminoles race. The South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of the Insulindian archipelago. We descend from the Areopagites of ancient Pericarnassus and arrived here 4,000 years ago. Millennia before you. We are the future. That is all you need to know.
So you were born and raised on the islands before you moved
I
north?
am a descendant. The narrow streets of Ulimbuir are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Seminoles women walk into the grey mass on Ile de Fantôme, waiting on immaculate conception from the pale.
Well, you're standing in Rubbershall territory, my friend.
No. I have heard about it on the radio.
So you're not really Seminoles, you're just
I'm
from...
from Couronne. And no, it is not just in Revachol. The city is central to the Seminoles strategy. Spreading through its trade networks, our culture will dominate the world. You have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today. You have extinction to come to terms with. Think upon it.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
Does he strike you as the kind of man who puts mugs into trash?
I think this racist is better than the last, but the next racist will be the really good one.
That will be the...
That will be our lucky racist!
He will grant us 3 wishes.
Your pedomorphic friend has quick wits. A protruding occiput and an indented zygomatic bone.
The lieutenant does not flinch.
You should keep him close. The congenital defect of farsightedness does not render him a complete invalid. He still has the use of his mind. Racists are generally not very good examples of their race.
Welcome to Revachol. You hear him yell at a redhead woman visiting the fritter nearby. He must think redheads are immigrants.
I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid on my skull and features. This should dispel any doubt.
True, that is a noble cranium, but you got a hard noggin yourself. The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific ambitions. One thing, however, it is not entirely free of throwbacks in the phylogenetic tree. His large jaw, for example, could be a trait indicative of criminalism. Also, his earlobes could be small.
That atavistic stigmata makes pussy say yes, plenty.
Babe, thanks. But I got this.
As you turn, a bright light catches your eye, making you squint.
Cool.
So cool.
Where's it coming from?
From a distant sunset, a stage light, flash photography, nowhere in particular. It's just what superstar law officers do. They squint at lights, and they solve shit.
Yeah, that's me. I've been established in my institute.
Yeah, you have. You're a big dick cop. Dick Mullen. Salam Rocky Baye. Badass on the edge disco cop. Bound to receive to a ludicrous fantasy world. Here we go. Camera.
Lights.
Lights.
Action.
With a sudden flash, the world freezes around you, and you along with it. In an iconic monochrome solution, a black silhouette against a rasterized orange world. It's on.
Ooh. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, I can't get past him. I gotta tell Alfred about the gun. What? Oh, is there anybody in the guard post now, or? Oh. Oh, he's still here! How's my favorite guy doing?
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They can only get so far before they're aching to get back. And lots of folk really did keep coming back.
I have a question for you if you have much trouble.
No trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. It's like that old saying goes. Wisdom withers if not shared. And old Leo is always up for sharing.
Yeah, I gotta go and see containers, containers, containers. Oh, Everett! Oh. Looks like something's forgotten on the coffee table. Oh, what's going on here? Why is he walking around? Yeah, it seems like Everett's not here. So that means I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go and see if I can negotiate with that guy so I can get some sleep, and also
You're back before the cargo container. No reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside the container.
I thought I'd be able to tell that. Seems like everybody's gone home.
lorry stuck in the traffic. The windows are...
Let's negotiate.
Can I help you?
Here's your trash container key.
Thanks. I hope you found what you were looking for.
I found the victim's clothes.
How strange. I certainly didn't put them there.
Did somebody in your staff put them there?
Sylvie had the keys before I got here, and I can vouch for her. I can vouch for all my staff. None of us would tamper with the crime scene.
Maybe you should, if you don't remember putting them there, maybe you were sleepwalking or for
I think
your state.
fugue states are more your forte, officer.
Who else has the keys to the trash
The
container?
trash collection service, CS Municipal. I don't see why they would put anything in the trash, though.
Ah, the elusive CS Municipal. I doubt we'll be able to track down who was sent here last and when. This will have to be one of those little threads that solves itself down the road.
On Clinton Street, near the Boogie Street Diamond, a small truck rattles down an alleyway. It stops by a rusted trash container. Two men, their faces rough and swollen, jump out. They look at the container despondently. CSM is written on their backs.
Thank you anyway.
Yes?
So about the money I owe you.
Yes. Have you got it?
I was wondering if we come to some kind of agreement for
Does
tonight.
that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment. Good luck trying to use it. All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock. Not until you bring me the money.
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here. Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this a shaker?
It's not a shaker. It's nothing. He's holding nothing.
There's nothing there.
Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I wearing a bow tie and doing this? Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No. Do you know why?
Because you're not a bartender.
That's right. I'm the cafeteria manager. I'm glad we cleared that. Is there anything else?
What you want is a goddamn drink. How is that so hard to understand? Play it calm. This man needs to understand you need a drink to help the community deal with police stuff.
I'm an alcohol operated detective. If you want me to clean up the dead bodies and solve this case, then you need to then you need to insult alcohol into my mouth.
Oh, well, in that case, let me pour you a nice, big, refreshing marinella. Do you want that out of a glass or a pineapple?
Glass.
Don't be an imbecile. I'm not going to serve you a marinella. I have work to do and broken things to fix. If that was all, I'd like to return to it. Another thing. Great. I love those.
I saw a sign that says mess hall is reserved for the union.
Yes, not the whole damn union, thank God. Just the nastiest and loudest faction. They come here in the evenings. Dumb, unruly types. Think they're big shit. But they're good customers. They place big orders and always pay on time.
I can't get over that. I'm an alcohol-operated detective. If you want me to clean up that dead body outside, you're gonna need to insert alcohol into my mouth.
We should find out who this Lord faction is, occupying the booth.
I think it's
Loudness
Albert.
means talkative, and we need info. We don't. We have to wait. They'll show up sooner or later. Men get hungry, even striking men. If not today, then they'll be here tomorrow.
There are these things called days. You sleep between them. He's saying they'll come after you've slept. Just making clear you got that.
Yes?
Goodbye. Oh. What's this? What? What? Oh, garbage. Yeah, fuck. What do you say? Oh, I had a sub. Yeah. Nothing else to eat. Kinda ran short. We gotta go to the store at some point.
Yes?
What was this thing in the...
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater cage.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage.
Huh?
The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
You said something about Poncho?
Yes, there's one 100 meters south of here. I think it's called Roy's Nest or something. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late.
Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under the Items tab. You can pawn these items when talking to Roy.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Just self of fear. What's that? Oh, it's like way more down here. Yeah, pretty extensive map. Ooh, trash can. So it must be Roy's pawn shop, eh?
A couple of indicator lights are missing from this control panel. Loose wires dangle from the now vacant holes. In the middle is a lever. Beneath it, a small metal plaque. This panel usually closes the waterlock, turning it into a bridge that lets you cross the canal. But there's a crashed salmon and butter sign in the way. Pulling the lever probably won't do anything.
Pull the lever.
You pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks against the contact pins. You hear a soft clunk. Then, nothing happens.
Push it harder.
Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in from the sea interrupts the silence of the situation. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get across the canal, some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning? A crumpled billboard reading, Samaran butter soaks in the canal. Two ugly lines mar the bright countenance of the blonde boy depicted. Just some tasteless advertising at the bottom of a canal. No use rubbernecking now. Whatever it is, the boy on the billboard seems very happy about it. Goat milk and butter. The Samaran terrain makes it easier to raise goats than cows, and the local goat farmers produce high-quality meat and dairy staples that add variety to other nations' diets. It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, it's an acquired. It's dairy. It's butter. Hey, butter's not acquired taste. It's pretty delicious.
A typical Martinez streetlight sits among assorted floor and table lamps. The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
Yeah, it would.
Yes, officer. As you see, it's in perfect working order.
Where did you get this?
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property. You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
How much for the streetlight?
700 real. A bargain, I dare say.
A bargain? No, it's not. He's trying to sweet-talk you into buying trash.
The light has undergone 3 transformations, and every transformation, large or small, has a price tag.
The light has been removed and rewired. That's 2 transformations. But what about the third?
I get how swaying it off and reducing the wiring could doing the wiring could add cost, but why? What else?
The most important transformation is the light's placement among ordinary indoor fixtures, which has adjusted its morphological field. The light became suitable for use inside the home just a few days ago.
Okay, that checks out.
I gotta get 700 Royale. Oh, wait, what's that? What's that?
Wow, a very large red t-shirt with an impressive print stands out from the other garb.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, the print depicts a muscled man striding toward you, a giant sword in each hand, encircled by burning embers. Behind him is a cluster of cabins engulfed in flames. Beneath him are the words, Hyundal burning.
That's Rad Man from Hilder t-shirt you got there.
Hell yeah, man. I don't usually carry printed tees, but this one was just pure exemplar.
You must be a serious Man from Hellrats fan.
A fan? No, I wouldn't go that far. But I do think the Hjálmdalaman saga is an integral part of our shared reality. Most people don't think that the man from Hjálmdal really existed, but they're wrong.
Did you mean the Man from Hellrats was real?
I mean, even if the man from Hjálmdal didn't exist before the adventure novels, the stories have made it so that he has. It's simple, really.
Okay.
You sound skeptical.
No spear.
It's not that complicated. All that's required is a more robust understanding of cause and effect. Besides, I've been to Kotla, though not quite as far north as the Hjálmdal, and watched northern lights travel across the sky. Very unique, energetic tides there.
It's for the best, because Hjálmdal is not a real place, and thus he could not have gone there. His theory isn't exactly incoherent, but its logic does suggest some unusual neural activity. Interesting.
How much for selling the shirt?
2 real.
That's dirt cheap.
But why?
Get the Man from Hellrats, a superstar, and I'm a superstar. It'll be perfect.
I suppose that makes sense, yes. Please go ahead and take it. Welcome to Hjálmdal.
And oh yeah, now I got the cool T-shirt. My cop's looking less disco and more freaking hipster as the time goes on. What's going on over here?
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty.
Come on.
Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped, and sad somehow. Most of them are just broken toys. They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
Are these royalist soldiers?
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job a bit gaudy, but children like the bright colours indiscriminately.
Big men on big horses, clad in lamella armor and carrying flintlocks, the kind that would mow down a line of enemy soldiers in the blink of an eye.
Franco-Nigerian knight. I used to be very serious about these guys.
This set of soldiers isn't meant to look impressive. A few have rifles, but most of them carry pistols. Some even shovels and tall sticks.
Are these even soldiers?
You're probably talking about the revolutionaries, yes? Yes, they are soldiers, revolutionary soldiers. I think their poverty has been exaggerated for effect. When you place them next to the royalists, it doesn't seem like they could possibly win.
It's impossible to win against the capital. Ask my friend Grant, whose bitch made it. Whose bitch it made me.
Okay. I don't like either set too much, to be honest.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says, Stereo 8 approved. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Shop creepy. This Stereo 8 pursues here.
Is the Harman Welsh W2. Made in Vespa. Designed in Seoul. Plays all reel-to-reel formats. 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real.
You wanna know? I really wanna know if this device can handle my police
If
work.
police work means playing tapes, sure. You can use it for that. Or any other time you'd need to play a tape.
You sure this all works?
Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds and music from a variety of genres. Even though I don't really like music.
It grow. Some genres will grow. I used to hate music too.
And here you are. Quality sound reproduction
Oh,
on
it's
the
the
go.
fucking.
It'll play
Why do so many
anything,
video game sound effects sound like Grandpa?
Turn any tape into a
God.
conversation of sounds and shapes.
Okay, now why I was actually here. I'd like to sell you something, my good man.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
I'm sorry, I feel like I'm.
Oh no, not at all. I guess I haven't had many customers lately. RCM or otherwise.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake. People who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
Quite the collection. I may have something to add to it.
It keeps me entertained.
Entertained? He might be high. If he is, on what?
The Royal High.
Okay.
Oh, come
he
on!
Definitely is high. Whatever it is, you've probably done it, and many other things besides. But you can't cut through the jumble of sensations to get to the answer. Looking at his wares, talking to him, that might give you more clues.
Of course. It's in working order still, isn't it? Just pick your tape and set it spinning. It all starts with the tape. Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
What? Sold? This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh God. The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another. Alert.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. The unhealthy kind.
It's a buyer, please.
She didn't seem like a policeman. Although she kept referring to herself as a pig. Which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive. But I was just happy to get rid of it. And of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the Citizens Militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
There's only one solution. Must be one of my rabid fans.
In that case, she'll be happy to get a visit from us, if we can find her.
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from, or where she went.
Anita and Haystack, there is nothing you can do about it right now. You just have to hope Everard wasn't lying, and the Union can track her down in time.
Maybe. Shady-looking guys came in here yesterday, looking like they'd just taken off their Wild Pines overalls. They asked if I have a police weapon to sell. I told them I already sold it. They went their way. It was a trip, but you know, All sorts of people come here, asking for all sorts of things.
Maybe Claire really is tracking down your gun.
Of course.
I'd like to sell
Yes,
something.
We'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump a mesk banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course, I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you. Here's the 100 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
I had this fascinating photo of a corpse. I'd like to sell my clothes.
I'm not purchasing any more clothing at the moment.
I have this fascinating photo of a corpse here.
Oh, no. I don't like those kinds of objects. No sale.
What does it tend to?
Photic paths, counter-radiance networks, anti-magnetism. It's darkness. That's all I know. Sell me something lighter.
I'll check my pockets.
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps. Greetings on this fine night. What brings you here? Is it? Spring is capricious, yes.
It's still open.
The pawn shop is always open. I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have.
You know anything about the recent
I do
hanging?
my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business. Bad for everyone.
No one likes to see what you have to see every day. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
Let's try this again.
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Parolidon. It's tough to come by on the street.
Parolidon, what is that?
A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature.
No judgment, just curious. I probably do loads of
I've had to take it. You know, since the People's Pile cleanup. I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade.
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
A bad idea. Some poor leftist built a particle decay generator in hopes of bringing affordable electricity to underserved communities. It malfunctioned. Radioactive waste everywhere. Probably some of it in you too.
The People's Pile was a Type U particle decay generator that failed immediately after entering service, releasing radioactive waste into River Esperance.
Why is it called the People's
Construction
Piles?
began during the Commune of Revachol. The people continued work on it after the Commune fell. They wanted a cheap source of energy for Revachol West. Needless to say, things didn't work.
What is a particle decay
A
generator?
primitive nuclear reactor, also called a pile. An emergency valve defect resulted in steam pressure blowing the turbine, taken the fuel
Chernobyl.
containment vessel up in the explosion, both the faulty design and lack of finances contributed to the catastrophe.
There's a reason why everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened, and why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile. So much disappointment and early deaths. Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up as best we could. No one's. Everyone's. A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen? We were an all-volunteer force, self-organized, tried to help the fire brigades
This game actually
contain
made
the
me laugh.
spill.
On the patch, gamma radiation lines crossed with a red drop of blood. Tough son of a gun, this one. Respect.
I lived by the river since I was a small boy. The Esperance didn't have the art to let it all go to shit without trying to do something to help out. There wasn't much the volunteer force could do, however. We wasted years in the river mud. Years getting sick.
How do you end up on the
The
pump?
cleanup happened 15 years ago. I was young then. Later, my second aunt died. Left me this shack and all the assorted junk in it. So I came to Martinez. People told me don't go there. It's a shithole. I said, people, we just had a nuclear pile meltdown. I'm gonna get as far away from Forburg as I can. Still in the same city, but... I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Sure.
You said you done it before, yeah?
The lieutenant steps away, pretending to admire some of the knickknacks on display. Looks like he doesn't want to get involved.
I've tried it once and I liked it.
Here you go, man.
Yes, darling. That's the coalition government ordained Parolidon. Straight into your gut.
Thanks,
Of
man.
course.
I I scored drugs after all. I was able to score drugs after all. This co-op is cool. Now it's time to pay my debt. Wait. I want to look over this. What does this do? Oh, it brings up my psyche. Oh, it's the tear bag. Hello, I got your payment. Oh, what's that? I got your payment, man.
Can I help you? Yes. Have you got it?
I have the
Well,
money. Here's the slams. I hope you choke
great,
on it.
Perfect. I hope you enjoy your freezing cold room with the window you broke yourself. The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, please pay for each night in advance. 20 real per night. If you don't have
Oh,
the money,
thank God.
it's over for you. Got it? You've got nowhere else to stay.
Time stops advancing after 2 in the morning. If you haven't paid for your room by then, it's game over. Don't leave finding money to the last minute, however. It's harder to make cash after nightfall when the shops are closed and the streets empty.
I'll take a room here too.
Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
Oh, so I gotta... Oh, so I gotta find money to pay this guy every night. Oh, that's gonna be an interesting... Oh, maybe I can knock on the door now.
The door is closed. This door can only be opened with a key or from the inside. Still nothing. The lieutenant gives you a quick glance. You should punch a fucking hole in it. You slam your fist into the vinyl. It does not produce a hole. The door sits sturdily in the frame, and your fist hurts. Not to mention, great exercise.
Stop that.
Hey. I wonder, if I have this equipped, can I open this door? Nope.
This is the door to the room you redecorated.
Good night,
Just a
Lieutenant.
moment. We should talk about our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
Alright, let's go. Yeah, I'm guessing we're gonna... I'm taking those boots.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Now then, we should talk about the investigation. But I also feel you're a bit hazy on the RCM. Our role here, our rights, our jurisdiction, basically.
I didn't know you spoke, Kim.
I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a ritual.
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
That's a good
You're
idea.
cold, detective. Again, I only have exactly one every night.
Below, the city trembles with its remaining lights. People are rushing home, running away from home, smoking, sleeping, singing in the shower. Edges of dining tables, hands, aprons flicker through windows before the lights go out.
You mean this? This isn't good. It's an unnecessary trial of will, and unhealthy. Yes, it's been a long and eventful day.
How do you think today
We
went?
performed a thorough initial inspection of the victim's body, so that's good. One could say it's the main thing to do in a murder. Then you shot the body down, which was quite a shot.
Damn straight, I'm a sharp shooting cop.
We still have to perform the autopsy, though. However, we did a thorough search of the crime scene. Now, as for interviews, my list of people to talk to here in Martinez, I mean.
I love
I'm
doing
sure.
interviews.
Well, we conducted an interview with Avar.
Deranged superstar lines.
He wasn't particularly forthcoming with useful information, however.
I'm sure I could get him to tell
Claire
more.
also helped you, how should I say, remember your name? That's
Big
a
re-
relief.
Big relief. It's a very serviceable name, too.
Moving on. We tried to interview the White Pants rep.
For
but she
Dory
asked
Communist.
us to do something for her first. Fine, so be it. I have a feeling Joyce knows how dangerous the situation really is. We have to get her to talk to us. Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice?
I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow.
I'm training for a long distance run. I'm ready to where's my fraternity.
It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those hills. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange.
Thank you for the compliment. We could manage it even in wooden clogs. There are uncanny running reservoirs in this body. God knows why.
No power in the RCM.
They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offenses, in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule.
Why not more?
The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Revachol.
Wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse?
Yes, although indirectly, as citizens can always request records from their local station. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust in the RCM.
Okay, what else?
We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station closely. It prevents confusion and overcrowding.
How are you sure the rest will show up?
You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up.
Yes, he is.
As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary, and strongly admonished not to abuse that power. You have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force.
Oh.
In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone, which is for the best.
What happens if people are
We don't
convicted?
convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Couron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them. The coalition government, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order.
Okay,
no
I got
more,
it.
no less.
After this debriefing, I gotta...
Or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM.
Let's say it was the citizens of
Be
Revachol.
sentimental if you like. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in this city, and they will take it away if we misuse it. The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They have been running this place after the revolution failed.
If I don't know, how would you describe them?
They're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, most intergovernmental organizations in the world.
What do they believe in?
What do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the
The
unionist
car?
project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Day 4 centuries ago. Others say they are just technocrats.
What are the
Interesting
symbol?
question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can gauge what they want you to think of them from that.
Something kind and usual. Something almost self-explanatory. Something even a little feminine, but in a strict manner. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me.
For you, she is something painful, though it's hard to say why.
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen.
I have an opinion on the Morita.
Do you?
Most immigrants, liberal, crips, freaking men turn into woman.
Well phrased.
Yep, that's
I
me.
understand answering to foreign powers doesn't sit well with immigrant bashing, but without the EMI, we would be common vigilantes. That's just the way it is.
Actually, vigilante's okay with me.
Then you will adore Martinez. For many of these people, the Union especially, vigilantes is precisely what we are. Personally, I don't enjoy it much.
The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses, the red and golden orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west as Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Monday is over. The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next drag. An aerostatic passes overhead, the whiskers of its floodlights on the ground below. Kitsuragi's glasses light up as he looks to the sky. Two glowing circles.
They really don't
Very
like
anime.
us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different inland, in Jamrock and the GRIH. It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our two precincts. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works, our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate.
What the people need is a strong leadership that will put everybody in line.
That seems unwise to me. But it's too late for an all-out political debate.
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make him look younger, not older.
Thanks for this.
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
Okay, so when I'm gonna end it here. The next episode, I'm gonna end it here, but in the next episode, we're going after those boots. I cannot leave power armor boots, yes, on the corpse of a cadaver as a part of a crime scene, out of my possession. And I will figure out a way to remove them. And I will blame Kuno. That's all. Stayberg signing out. See y'all in the next one. Goodbye. Hope you guys are having a good one. Peace. And yes, I would if it gave me an option. Peace. See y'all in Stalker.